good, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. Today we are on our way to Connecticut. I already picked up my first load. I just came out of a rest area, and right now we are about, I'd say about like an hour away from, I believe it's North Haven, Connecticut. I think that's where we're going to. And after that, we're gonna go back to Staten Island. We have to go to Queens right after, and then I believe our last stop is Edison. I'm not too sure, I gotta look at that, but we got about like 5 stops. I already did one, so we got like 4 left. But today's video is gonna be talking about the pros and cons on working for Amazon, specifically like as a third party, working for a third party company that works with Amazon, so they're partnered with Amazon. I've been working here for about, I'd say, I started in September, so I'd say about like 6 months, I believe. We got September, October, November, December, January, February. So yeah, about 6 months, going on to 7. And what can I say? One of the pros that I think that I like about Amazon is being able to work 3 days and getting it 40 hours. So what that means is you're gonna be working a lot more hours each day, but you're gonna have more days off. So for example, my schedule is usually Sunday to Tuesdays, 13 and a half hour blocks. I work 3 days consecutive, so Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, and then I'm off the rest of the week until the next following Sunday or the next day that they have me scheduled for. You're guaranteed 3 days for your work week, so you're guaranteed your 40 hours. That's one of my pros that I really like, because if you have, for example, a family, or you have, you know, a girlfriend or a wife, and you got some kids, or just better yet, you have like a side hustle or a side business that you're doing on the side, this is a great opportunity and a great job where you can basically work 40 hours and get your money and get your paycheck, and then you got 4 other days to also build something on the side that can potentially be extra income for you. So that's one of the best, that's one of the good things about this company. You have a lot of days where you can focus and do other, you can even have a second job or just work on a business on the side, or do YouTube like I do on the side, and you know, it gives you more time to do other things and basically get things done that you weren't able to get done throughout the 3 days you were working. So that's one of the pros that I like about working for Amazon. Another pro about working for Amazon is that all their trucks are 2022 and newer, I believe, or 2021. I'm not sure, I might be mistaken the years, but technically all the tractor trailers that they have are new. So what does that mean? That means you have, most of the trucks nowadays are automatics. So if you do have a restriction on your license where you can only drive automatic trucks, that's not a big deal, that's not a big problem, because Amazon only has automatic trucks. Luckily for me, I don't have a restriction, so I could drive a manual or automatic, but it's a plus because especially where I'm from in the Northeast, I go a lot to New York, Connecticut, I go to a lot of places where there's a lot of traffic. So it's a plus to have an automatic truck and not have to worry about switching gears when you're in a heavy traffic jam. So that's one of the things that I really like about Amazon, that all their trucks are brand new. And because all the trucks are brand new, you also get, with the new trucks, you get heat and air conditioning. So you guys might think, well, doesn't all the trucks come with them? Most of them do, most of the newer ones. But for example, I used to work at Pepsi before this job, and Pepsi is a union company. So when you first start off there, you start off the lowest of the low. You get the worst routes and you get the most oldest trucks that they have, because the newest, it goes by seniority. So the people who are on top, who's been there for years, they get, you know, they basically get first dibs. They get first dibs on the routes and on the truck. So 9 times out of 10 they get the new ones with the AC and heat. For me, I was basically brand new. I was the lowest. I was like the bottom of the seniority list. So every time I always got a old truck, and most of the times it was manual, and on top of that it didn't have no air conditioning. So in the summertime, when I was unloading the beverages and also bringing them in the stores, I was sweating. First of all, I was sweating. I was working out at 90 degrees weather, unloading, breaking down pallets. And on top of that, once you're done, I had to hop back into a hot truck with no air conditioning. So that was a really downside to that company, that you have to start off from the bottom. And with this company, Amazon, they're not union, so you don't have to deal with who gets a better route than who. And on top of that, you're gonna have air conditioning and heat, so you don't have to worry about that. You're good in the winter and summertime. So that's another thing I like about that, about having a new truck. Another pro that's I like about working for Amazon is you're basically not, how can I say this, no one's hovering over you. So you're basically planning out your day. You got to make sure you get to each stop on time. Make sure you have enough time in between the stops, that if you are going to stop somewhere to use a restroom or buy something to eat, you plan it ahead of time, so that way you can, so you don't arrive late to each stop. But you're essentially your own boss. You're working under a company, but you don't have a manager on top of you. Most of the times when I get to the yard, 9 times out of 10, I've probably seen the owner one time. The guy who hired me, the company I'm working for, I only seen him one time. I never seen him again after that. And then you don't really see anyone. You just show up to the yard, you dispatch will text you which tractor to take for that day, and you basically just look for the tractor. You log into your relay app and you do your pre-trip. Once everything's all good and you have gas, you're pretty much good to go. You don't have to deal with anybody. You don't have to do any paperwork. You're just basically your own boss, if you think about it. Obviously you're not, but you don't have no one looking over you, looking over your shoulders or anything. So you're pretty much on your own, which could be good, it could be bad for some people. For me, I like it because I work better when I don't have someone breathing down my neck. So I prefer like not having no one on top of me. I just, you know, do what I have to do, get to the yard, do my pre-trip, make sure I have gas in the truck, then I just go about my day until I'm finished with all my stops, and then I head back to the yard, make sure I fuel up the truck again, and do my post-trip and head home. That's about it. So that's a good thing about working for Amazon. You don't really interact with a lot of people, so you just come in, you do what you have to do, and then you go back home. So that's one of the good things I like about this company. And also on that topic as well, since you don't really interact with anybody, like most of the paperwork and documents for what you're carrying, like most of the times, 9 times out of 10, 99% of the time, you don't carry any BOL. So everything's on the app. All the documents, all the paperwork, what you're hauling, how much it weighs, everything's on the app. So you don't gotta worry about having the paper and let's say something spills on it or whatever. Like everything's here, everything's all digital. You get to the Amazon that you're dropping off, they already receive it through, I don't know how it works, but everything's all electrical, so it's all on their system. So you don't have to give them a paper or anything. Sometimes you do go to third parties where you do get like a BOL, but that's, you know, that's rare. You go to third parties, I really don't go there often, so most of the times you really don't carry any paperwork. So that's kind of a plus if you don't like carrying like paperwork or worrying about where you put it. Everything's on the phone for each stop. So that's one of the good, also a pro for this company. Everything's all digital, it's all modernized, so you don't really have to carry any paper. Another thing that I like that's a pro for Amazon is everything's all local, so you don't have to go over the road. Yes, there is companies, third-party companies that work with Amazon that do over the road, and they also do regional, but they also have local, and that's a plus. So whatever you like, they have basically all the options. You can work over the road, you can do regional, or you can do local like I am, which I prefer local. So you're always coming back home at the end of the day. So that's a plus as well, working for Amazon. It's all local. And another thing, everything's all drop and hook. So you don't have to unload, you don't have to, you basically back up to the dock door. You make sure the doors are open, you back into the dock door, and then you just lower the landing gears, and that's basically it. You don't have to unload or anything, which is a plus, because when I was working at Pepsi, you had to deliver to like convenience stores and CVS's, a lot of stores, quick checks, and you always had to, once you arrive, you check in, you have to unload the pallet, break down the pallet, bring in the drinks in what's it called, I forget that, but you roll it in. I forget what's the name of that. I haven't used it in a while. Yeah, I can't think of it on the top of my head, but basically you bring them all in. Once you check in and make sure all the product that you're supposed to bring in is there, you gotta open up, like let's say the Gatorade, you open up the 24 pack or 30, whatever, how many comes in a pack, and you have to open them up, go in the freezers or in the coolers, and start basically merchandising and stocking them to their desired place. So I personally don't like that. I'm more of like, I just want to drive. The most I'll do is like, if I had to unload the pallet with a pallet jack and put them where all the pallets are gonna go, that's the most I would want to do. But breaking down a pallet, breaking down cases of sodas and stocking them into the cooler, like, I'm not trying to do that. So if you don't want to do any of that, Amazon is a company that's just drop and hook, so you don't gotta worry about unloading. So that's a plus. You just show up, drop the trailer, pick up the trailer you're supposed to pick up from that location, and you're good. You basically check out and you go to your next stop. All right, I don't know where I left off, but right now that I thought about it, another pro that I could think of right now working for Amazon is that they're always, more than likely, every Amazon you work at or go to, I mean, you're gonna find a restroom, and you're gonna sometimes, 9 times out of 10, they have a trucker's lounge, so you can heat up your food or buy some water or fill up your chug, or you carry your water. You can buy, they have vending machines, so you can buy snacks and sodas, juices, whatever. So that's one of the plus about working for them. You can already plan out ahead with your stops. Here, I'll show you guys. For example, I'm gonna show you guys what my stops were today and what they're gonna be tomorrow. So today, these were my stops. I don't know if you guys can see, but you have, the first one you see is a yard. That's where we pick up the truck or the tractor. Where I have Staten Island, North Haven, Staten Island again. This is basically Queens, and then back to Staten Island, and then at the end we go back to the yard. Tomorrow it's a pretty easier day. I gotta go to Edison, Manchester, Connecticut, Carteret, and then Edison. So I can already tell by leaving Manchester on my way back to Carteret, I can stop somewhere and grab some food or take my break, because I don't have to be at Carteret until about, that's 20:45, so that's around 8, yeah, 8:45. So I could stop somewhere before that and heat up, I'll either buy food or whatever I have to do. And I think these two stops have truckers lounge, so I can heat up my food. Like I can plan ahead just with this the schedule that they have here. So that's a good thing about Amazon. They give you your schedule so you can kind of like plan ahead, because you usually go to like the same spots, not every single day, but like you go there often, so you're gonna remember. You're gonna know, okay, this location I know I can heat up my food, this place doesn't have a microwave. So you'll know when you start working more and more, you'll see which spots have them and which don't. And one more thing that's a pro, that most of the Amazons you're gonna go to deliver, they're easy check-in. So like I mentioned a couple videos back, you pull up to the where they check in, and there's like a camera that scans the front of your bumper, so they'll see the license plate, and it kind of gives them every information that you already have, that they have on you, which is like what trailer you're bringing in, or if you're coming in with no trailer, then they know exactly where you gotta go pick up. Like they have all this in the system already, so you don't have to really do much. Sometimes they'll ask you for the last 4 of the load ID, and that's about it. Then they'll tell you it's either ready or it's not ready. If it's not ready, they'll tell you to either park in front of the trailer, but don't hook until it turns green. So you can see right there, it's flashing when it's green. Obviously there's no trailer behind me, but if the trailer was behind me and it's green, I could basically reverse back and hook up to the trailer. If it's red, obviously don't hook up. But basically, yeah, they'll either send you, if it's not ready, they'll either send you to park in front of the trailer, or like a tractor parking where all the other tractors are parked waiting for the loads to be ready. And yeah, basically it's pretty self-explanatory. It's straightforward, it's very easy. You don't have to really deal with a bunch of people or walk around the building or nothing like that. It's very super easy. Amazon made it like, that's what I love about Amazon. They make it very simple and easy. It's so easy on the truck driver. All you have to worry about is making sure you put the trailer in the right parking slip or the right dock door, and pick up the right trailer from where they tell you on the app. So it's very easy. I'm telling you, this is the easiest job you'll ever find as a truck driver. I really recommend it, especially if you're starting off as a new truck driver. You don't want to get overwhelmed with a lot of paperwork, or not even that, but other places or other companies you're going to work for, sometimes you do have to unload. You go to like small businesses and like very cramped or residential areas too as well, where you don't have as much space to back in, and you might get overwhelmed in the beginning. This is kind of like a good stepping stone to work for. Get your like alley docking and you're backing up, all that, get it down pat, so that way maybe after a year, especially because most of these companies that are Amazon, some of them don't require any experience, some do. Some require 3 months, some require 6 months, some require 1 year. So it all depends, and all that varies also on your pay, how much you're gonna get paid. So I recommend Amazon because it's very easy. Most of the places you're gonna deliver to, they're very, like, you can see, look, you have so much space. You have a lot of space to back up. Like, you have so much space, so you can kind of take your time and get used to backing up. So after a year, you build up your experience. If you still plan on staying, you can stay, and if you want to like pursue other companies where they might pay you a little bit more, then that's good too, because then you already have that experience. You've been driving, in and out of the state. Like me, even though it's local, I go to Connecticut, I go to New York, I go sometimes to Delaware, Maryland, I go to Boston. So like, even though I'm local, but I've been out the state, so I'm already used to it. So I can, like, after a year of experience, I can just go somewhere else and work somewhere, and I'll be comfortable because I'm used to driving, I'm used to backing up, and I'll be able to overcome any obstacle, versus like if I was to start, like if I was just fresh out of CDL school, working for a company where you might be going to like small areas and you're not even that good yet, but you're backing up, like it could get overwhelming. That's the reason why I like Amazon. You can just, it's very easy. Most of the warehouses are spacious, so you can definitely like learn working with Amazon. All right, now to the cons, or the bad about working for Amazon. I really can't think of a lot because honestly I don't really complain about this job. It's one of the first jobs I never really complain about overall. Maybe just with like managers or like the owner of the company. Sometimes he's very, you gotta kind of like trying to get your schedule fixed, or like if you want a day off you gotta let him know ahead of time, and even then sometimes he still makes a fuss about it, but that's about it. But every company has their pros and cons. I could deal with those cons. It's not really much, to be honest. The only con I can think of is whatever company you work at, they might not have availability for overtime. Like this company, when I was getting hired, I asked them, can I work overtime? And they said normally the only thing they guarantee you is the 40 hours. Now if they need extra drivers or they need you to come in, like if they need you, like if it's really busy, then yeah, like an opportunity is there, then you can have overtime, which might be a downside for someone who maybe or like it might not be good for someone who's used to working over 40+ hours and getting that overtime and dependent off that overtime to get to have a big check at the end of the week. So for instance, where I work at right now, the only reason why I can't have a 4th day is because he still has a couple tractors down, like they're getting fixed. So he said at the moment I can't get a 4th day, which would be basically all overtime, because he has too many tractors out. But I believe once he gets them all back in, pretty sure I could be able to get a 4th day, and obviously that's like that 4th day would be all overtime, and that's like a 13-hour block, so 13 hours of overtime. So yeah, I mean, some company might be different. They might have all the tractors up and they might need, if you want to come in to work on a 4th day, you can just ask them, they might give it to you. So I'm just speaking off the company that I work for, but they might be open to giving you. And I think one more con that I can think of honestly might be just the hours. You might not be used to working 13-14 hours a day, and especially like they have different shifts and different starting times. Like for me, for instance, I work at 9:30. I start at 9:30, usually around roughly around 9:30. Sometimes I get in a little earlier depending on by what time I have to get to my first stop. So anywhere from 9 to like 10 a.m. So that means like you do the math, 13-14 hours later, it's 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. 11:30 is when you're leaving. So it might be a pro or a con for you, depending on if you rather wake up earlier and get out earlier, or but either way you're still gonna have like a 13.5 hour day, because you obviously want to get those 40 hours in those 3 days. So I mean, that's the only con I can think of. When I was applying for this job, originally they only had 2 a.m. shift, and I was working at Pepsi, but I did not like that company at all. Like, if you guys want me to make a video of why I left Pepsi, you can comment down below and I can exactly explain why I left Pepsi. Pepsi is not a bad company, but it's just the experience I had at the Pepsi that I worked at, it just was a turn off. And then there's certain things too aside from that. So if you guys do want to see why I left Pepsi, comment down below asking why did you leave Pepsi. Like literally just type that and I can see it and I'll be like, all right, I'll make a video for you guys of why I left it and came to Amazon instead. But anyways, when I was applying, they said 2 a.m. was the only shift they had available. So I was willing to leave Pepsi to start to work at that time, because that's how much I hated Pepsi. But then I was thinking about it and I was like, damn, do I really want to wake up at 2? Luckily for me, I think 2 weeks later went by, the hiring manager hit me back up, gave me a call, and she was like, look, you're hired. This is where we're starting you at. These are the days this is when you can start. Or they didn't give me actually the days. I actually told them when I can start, but she said basically you can choose out of these two options. We have the 2 a.m. but 10 a.m. I believe she said just opened up, or 9 a.m. I don't remember which one, how she said it, but basically I've been going in at 9:30 every day now that I work. But she said, which one do you prefer? I was like, obviously the fucking morning. Like, I'm not trying to work overnight, even though I was willing to leave Pepsi to work at that shift. Honestly, I didn't want to work at that shift. So I picked the one I have now, which is I'm okay with. Kind of wish I can go in a little bit earlier, like maybe like 8 a.m. or 7, but it's not too bad. So yeah, other than that, I can't think of anything else, you know, besides the schedules that they might have, or shifts that they might have, or start you at, whatever they might have available. I'm not sure, each company is different. But other than that, I mean, the only other thing I can think of is it kind of gets boring at times, especially if you want to record like truck content. No, most, like, because you don't really unload, so you really don't get to experience unloading or experiencing maybe a pallet or a cart or whatever broken, or seeing any of that in the back trailer. Like, you just basically drop and hook only, so you don't really do much. And most of the times you're going far anyway, so you're driving far. I mean, you might not like that. I can think of that could probably be one of the cons that you might not like, is you gotta drive far sometimes. But other than that, yeah, I mean, it's very simple. It's not too much going on. So I mean, yeah, that's the only thing I could think of. That's why I just wanted to make this video for you guys, just so you guys can see the pros and cons. You guys can see, like, it's late, and you guys saw earlier it was like daytime, but I only work 3 days, so I really can't complain, to be honest. It gives me 4 days of rest to focus on other things that I do, you know, on my outside of work stuff, like working out, you know, relationship, family, and even like I'm into cars, so I do some car content as well, and just do other things besides work and trucking. So yeah, I mean, if you guys like the video, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. If you guys want to know why I left Pepsi, comment down below. And if you guys want to see or know how much you'll start off making as a new truck driver, comment down below. I can make a video for that too. I really won't expose too much of the company I work for, because I'm not sure if they want, you know, I don't want to like get in trouble or anything, or letting people know how much you can start off at. I mean, I'll give you a range, and then if you guys want to see that video, but I could definitely talk about how much I was making at Pepsi. So if you guys want to see that video, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, comment down below what you guys want to see, and then yeah, I'll make sure I make that video for you guys. Until then, peace out, stay safe.